We continue to convey to Israeli leaders that they need to do more to protect civilians. We condemn Iran's attacks on locations in Iraq and Pakistan, which harmed and killed civilians. We also condemn the Houthis' attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea, that two states, with Israel's security guaranteed, are the only path to durable peace. We reiterate that there can be no forced relocation of Palestinians, and that Palestinian civilians must be allowed to voluntarily and safely return home with dignity as soon as conditions allow. Further, we reject calls for a relocation of Palestinians outside of Gaza and the dehumanizing language used by some officials on all sides of the conflict. We continue to convey to Israeli leaders that they need to do more to protect civilians and take feasible precautions to minimize civilian harm in line with international humanitarian law. Far too many Palestinian civilians have been injured or killed in Gaza since October 7. More needs to be done to protect them. Colleagues, the United States has repeatedly warned Iran and its proxies not to engage in opportunistic attacks that risk instigating a wider conflict. We condemn Iran's attacks on locations in Iraq and Pakistan, which harmed and killed civilians. We also condemn the Houthis' attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea, which Resolution 2722 rightly demanded must cease. We know that without Iran's support, the Houthis would struggle to track and strike commercial vessels. We seek a diplomatic solution along the Blue Line that would allow civilians in Israel and Lebanon to return home. We again call for full implementation of Resolution 1701. And let me be clear, the United States will continue to take defensive actions as appropriate and in line with international law to protect our personnel and interests in the region. We're also deeply troubled by the situation in the West Bank, where forced displacement and unprecedented levels of violence by extremist settlers present an urgent threat to peace and stability. We condemn killings of Palestinian civilians, and we urge Israel to prevent and investigate settler violence, as well as hold perpetrators accountable. Colleagues, as we respond to the Gaza crisis, a key component of U.S. diplomacy is to pursue a pathway both to a Palestinian state and normalization and integration between Israel and other regional states, some of whom join us today for this open debate. The goal is a future where Gaza is never again used as a platform for terror, and a future where Palestinians have a state of their own, Israel's security is assured, and Israelis and Arabs can live in peace. Secretary Blinken recently heard from regional countries a willingness to participate in the reconstruction of Gaza if there is a path to a Palestinian state. A stronger, reformed, and revitalized Palestinian Authority that can more effectively deliver for its own people in both the West Bank and Gaza must also be a part of the equation. I know this may be difficult to imagine at this difficult moment, but it's President Biden's firm conviction that two states, with Israel's security guaranteed, are the only path to durable peace, as well as the only guarantor of a secure and democratic Israel, the only guarantor of Palestinians' legitimate aspirations to live in a state of their own, and the only way to end this violence once and for all. To achieve this future, the Israeli and Palestinian people, as well as their leaders, must make hard choices. We do not purport to make these decisions for them, but we believe strongly that if they're willing to pursue these goals, they can help to usher in an era where Palestinians and Israelis can live side by side in peace.
you.